best detailers I know aren't actually the best at detailing. And I know that sounds wrong, but just think about it for a minute. You, like me, have probably met someone in this industry who's genuinely incredible at their job, and you see them produce flawless results every single time. But that same person is also broke and their calendar's not booked up at all. And you may have met someone whose work is good, not exceptional, nothing special, but they're turning over more money in 1 month than other detailers are turning over in 6. And obviously the difference is nothing to do with their technique, it's how they run their business. And the single biggest edge the top earners in the detailing industry are doing right now is that they've stopped doing the tasks that don't require a human to do it. Booking, quoting, review requests, all these sorts of things don't need you or anyone else to do it. You can automate every single one of those processes, and that's what the top earners tend to do. So let's get right into it. The first of 3 sections we're going to talk about today is booking and scheduling. And the reason why you want to optimize this is to stop you losing jobs and stop you wasting your time talking to time wasters or people who are generally not interested. No more begging for reviews, no more repeating the same things, no more of those mundane tasks that just eke away at you day after day. And by automating it all, this is how you'll start making real money in this industry. Here's what the average detailer's booking process looks like right now. A client will reach out and message asking you if you're free on Saturday. You message back saying yes, what time works, they say the morning. You then ask if they've got a time in mind, 9 a.m. start, 11 a.m. start, they say 11 a.m. is fine, you confirm. Then Friday night they message you asking if you can push it back to the afternoon, you've already moved something, and then they don't show up. That entire sequence, every message, every rearrange is completely avoidable. And only as of very recently you can automate the entire thing at an extremely low cost. But I don't see anyone within this detailing industry talking about these practices. So that's what we want to make sure we're getting right today and giving you the advantage over anyone else in your local area. I personally have built out a full CRM, and which we can address in another video in the future. But in that CRM, I have a booking and scheduling system, just like Calendly, for example. You set your available days, you set your slot duration, and you set the gap in between each job, for example. If you're doing multiple jobs a day, it's obviously a massive help to have a little bit of a gap. And that lives both on my website and on my CRM. So if someone books from my website and they've requested to book in for a specific block, it then populates on my calendar, I can see it there. And the other massive bonus as well is that the client can see my availability. So if they've got multiple dates in mind, but I don't have multiple dates available, they can then compare and see as to what free time they've got and then book in on their preferred date. They book in, I get a notification, there's no back and forth. It's done, automated. And about 50 to 70% of detailers I work with directly don't already have this in place. Is extremely worrying. But the most important part about that specific process is the part that reduces no-shows, and that is sending out reminders. Because whether you want to believe it or not, these people aren't intentionally messing around, but they've probably just forgotten about the service they had booked in. So what you want to start doing is sending out automated reminder messages. So maybe 5 days before the service, a day before the service, and obviously make it sound human. You don't want to say service tomorrow at 11 o'clock. You want to say, hey, just reaching out, checking on, we're still good for tomorrow. If there's anything else obviously changed, let me know now. Otherwise, we'll continue to go ahead as we've originally planned. See you tomorrow. And just adding that to my particular system instead of just showing up on the day with no message, no ETA, has reduced the rates of no-shows massively. Obviously, if you haven't built your own CRM, there's other CRMs dedicated to service businesses like Jobber, for example. And what that does, it connects your bookings into like a job pipeline so everyone is kept in the loop of things. Section number 2 is about quoting and customer communication. And this is where I see most detailers bleed the most amount of money every single week, and they don't even seem to notice it. And the reason being is because every quote that you make feels like a fresh one. A lot of it doesn't feel repeatable as you're typing it out every time and you're tailoring it to that specific customer. Obviously different card, different conditions, certain things that they do or do not need adding on. And when you're like me doing that 20 to 25 times a week, the time obviously adds up. So you need to do your best to automate this particular practice as well. So what I do instead is I just have a base template, which everyone should have, but you want to try and get very specific with it. You need your specific packages, your specific add-ons that can be selected by the client, what each add-on includes, so if it's like pet hair removal or stain removal or fabric protection, say what the purpose of it is, how much it costs, and they can obviously then choose to add it on. And then you can obviously have the other things like the vehicle, the condition it's in, so you obviously know the size and how bad of a state it actually is. Again, these are key indicators you need to have when you're taking on board any sort of job. Because if you do it just based on size, people are going to start taking the mick. You need to make sure that you're allowing the client, the person who wants to book with you, to be able to openly explain, whether that's just in a message box, to say what the current condition of your car is. So it might be a case of just asking that from the onset and just having preemptive questions to ensure that no stone is unturned. Because the last thing you want to do is have an RV booked in and they say they need the toilet cleaning, when all they've put on your website is that they've got an extra large vehicle. You had no idea it was an RV turning up, and you had no idea you're going to be cleaning someone's shit up. And this again is all tied in by AI. I use Claude to build my AI system or my CRM system, and every message that comes in, filling out those particular requirements, my AI then gets prompted and replies accordingly, giving an accurate quote, accurate time that we will be there, and obviously ensuring that I'm updated in what work I'm actually carrying out. Just before we go any further in the video, if you did want some more free information and a little bit more in-depth detail, I do have a 20-day email series. So over the span of the next 20 days, I'll give you an insight into my own business, what changes I implemented, and how that's actually managed to make me go from 1 to 2k a month to upwards of £10,000 each month. And that again is completely free. If you did want to sign up to that, link is in the description. Alternatively, if you wanted to jump ahead of that, there's always the detailer's guide available. It's literally £9.50 or $11 if in the US. Grab that if you want. Section number 3 is about reviews, follow-ups, and repeat customers. And this is the section I see most detailers skip entirely. So talking about the first point, reviews. Your Google business profile, as we've mentioned in previous videos, is one of the most powerful assets you can have as a detailer in your local town. And a strong review or a high review count puts you above any of your other competition. So with that in mind, you want to maximize the number of reviews you're getting each time you do a job. Ideally, you do a job, you get a review, and it just continues that way. But from what I've seen with detailers, they mostly ask for reviews if they've done a good job or if they remember. Sometimes they do a bad job and think, bloody hell, that client's not 100% happy, I'm not going to ask. You should ask regardless. Saying that though, you want to identify if there's any problems and obviously correct it for them free of charge. So if you haven't removed the stain out of the seat and they're upset about it, then go there, remove the stain out of the seat, then ask for a review. Talking about your Google business profile, I've seen many people online talking about SEO and the best ways to optimize it. It's no good if you've got no reviews to try and optimize your SEO. You want to try and get as many reviews as possible before you can start then fine-tuning little bits within your business to ensure you rank a little bit higher. So the moment the job is done, you send a review request. I then go home, go onto my CRM, the automations tab, make sure it's on the review request system, and any job that I've done that day, it will pick up the client details. So I've got them saved as a client within my database, and it will then automatically send them a message requesting that review with my personalized Google business profile review link. Now going into follow-ups, this is probably the one that moves the needle more than anything else, because the reality is every customer that you've actually ever detailed for is technically a warm lead and are ideal for repeat bookings. They already trust you, they've already paid you, and they know the quality of the work that you can deliver. But for some reason, most detailers never go back to them and they're always chasing new opportunities, new work to do. But the reality is work out there is limited and there is other competition. So if you've got someone in your remit, someone that you've dealt with before, then why wouldn't you go back to them? So what I do is simple, and I have it set up within the CRM. So after 90 days, a message will go out to that client basically saying, hello, it's been a few months since you last got your car cleaned or had this particular service done to it. I just wanted to check if you wanted to rebook in for a maintenance clean or any other particular work that you need carrying out. This again is just something that runs in the CRM, something that would normally take me hours to do for each particular client as I carry out multiple jobs a day. It's all set up within that software. I can then ensure that they're just getting the response anyway, and I don't have to do anything about it. And the reality is the worst thing the client to do is say no or ignore it. The best outcome is obviously they rebook with you, which happens more often than not. And this isn't just specific to my CRM, it might be any CRM that you use, but the point is you need to have some sort of software set up in place to ensure that these activities, these automations are being carried out. Because again, you don't want to take your focus off the job, because that's what's paying your bills at the end of the day, and you want to make sure that you are achieving the highest quality of work. But the other crap, the bullshit, the review requests, everything that we're talking about now, that is just all part of it. Another massive automation I use within my detailing business is the actual inventory tracker that I've built within this CRM. So what it does, I have a list of every single product I ever use. And if, for example, if I'm out of some all-purpose cleaner or I dip below 20%, which I update regularly on the CRM, it then automatically orders it from Amazon for me. My card is connected, the business account's connected, and it all goes through like clockwork. So by the time the actual product runs out, I've already got a new batch coming in or arriving that same day. Again, you guys can all do do it too. I'm no coder. I just basically use Claude over the span of a few weeks and months to build out this entire software. And the beauty is you can just tailor it all to yourself. So when I'm talking about these automations earlier, yes, there are other softwares that do it, like Go Higher Level or Jobber, but unfortunately, nothing's really tailored to the industry that we're in. And with it being 2026, you can do whatever you want with the use of AI. And I don't see enough people utilize this. So if you want to be getting ahead now, like me, and ensuring that you're wasting as little time as possible on all the mundane tasks that we've been talking about so far, please build out your own software. It doesn't take a lot of skill. You just need to know what you want to put in and just make that request for it to be done. Alternatively, if you did want to use the finer detailed CRM, we will be releasing it shortly in the future. So that is it in a nutshell. Those are the 3 main moves that I use each week to ensure I'm saving the maximum amount of time as possible. And the best thing is, it's better than an employee because they don't complain, they work around the clock and they do everything for me without me needing to pay them a massive salary. I pay £90 a month for my Claude package. And this goes back to the point I said at the start of the video. The detailers who are making the most money in this industry aren't the best detailers. They're the best at making sure that their business is keeping on moving and keeping on evolving. And that's all you need to do to push your business into the top 1% within your local area. If you've got any specific questions, obviously drop them in the comments. My DMs are always open as well. If you want to get me on Instagram, which is Adam Details, on TikTok, Adam Details, feel free to reach out. I'm always in my inbox. Let me know.